What's up, guys? It's Missy, and I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. And today I want to talk to you guys about like how to design your city. You know, maybe it's something that you have trouble with, like just knowing what to do or what looks good or how to do it. So, as you can see, my city has a lot of water, and I've put a lot of time into my city. Maybe it's not, something that you like or something that you're interested in, but everybody has like their own thing that they like to do. Okay. Whether it be like road designs. I've seen people do like some really cool road designs. I've seen people have like, 200,000 population, and they just have like, there's this one city called, it's like BK or something is his name. And I come across him all the time on Global, and he just has a really cool city. Now, when I designed, and go ahead and like and subscribe, I forgot to say that, that's going to help me get views. So please hit that subscribe button. Give me some feedback if you guys like the video. Give me some comments. Let me know if there's something you guys want me to do a video on. I will do that. If you have questions, I'll answer them. All right, so let me go back to what I was saying here. And when I started my city, it was awful. It looked like, Seattle. It was a mess. I had roads running into buildings. I had just stuff scattered everywhere. I had all my stuff it was a mess. Okay. So one night I sat down and I just redesigned my entire city, and it's not going to happen in a night. Okay. I cannot tell you how many times I've sat here for hours. I'm like 8 hours, dude. And I've worked in just this one little area because I got real picky about where the trees were, or, where the buildings were, or whatever. Like, you're going to move stuff around. It's not going to look good. And then you're going to get it and it's going to look really cool. And then a new mayor building is going to come out and it's going to be huge. You're going to have to make room for it. And you're going to have to rearrange everything again. So it's a constant thing. Okay. It's not just, and I've had people come into my group and they're like, oh, I got to move my houses again. That took me so long last time. It's like, well, do you like playing the game or do you not? Because this game, the whole point in playing is to build, okay? It's to have a cool city. It's to make some effort into it. Don't just sit there and throw a house down and make a donut and call it the day, okay? You got to put out the effort. So the whole point in the game is to get different looking buildings. Now, a lot of these you're going to obtain through doing the contest of mayors. Okay. Now, contest of mayors at a high level does not give you anything beneficial. Okay. You put more into it than you get out. So you have to do it for the buildings. If you're not doing it for the buildings and you're doing it for the reward and you're not winning, then you're a fool. Okay. So once you hit like level 50 and you're noticing that you're hitting like, you're getting to the top, you're in the first place, and last minute you're getting bumped down to like, 15th every week, and you're spending like 400 Sims cash or more, don't bother unless you're doing it for the buildings. Okay. Which I can understand, because that's why I did it, because some of these buildings are really cool. You'll never get them again. And that's another reason why you shouldn't bulldoze your city just because you want to redesign it. Stuff, all the specialization buildings, things like transportation, education, things like that. You guys can store these. It'll tell you how many you have in storage in your menu here. So it'll say like 9+ if you have more than 9. And once you hit here, it will tell you the exact amount that you have. So like if you've stored like 75 water, it will tell you how many you have if you click and read your menu. A lot of people, they store like 9. They're like, oh no, did I lose it? Why is it only counting up to 9? I don't know why the game says it, but that's why. So, when it comes to design, I chose to put my factories along the front and then do my shops right in front of my factories. And the reason that I chose to do this is because I'm partially lazy. I don't like to scroll across my entire screen just to pick up a batch of seeds, to go back to find out that, I can't throw it down at the shop or whatever. It makes for so much, it's convenient. Okay. Now, I also have my Omega canisters here. and I also have my taxes right there. So everything is just right in front. Okay. I put it next to my depot so that I could just, scroll, collect, put stuff up for sale for people. Now, I wanted to do like, I don't know how to, okay, so like when you first enter my city, I have like this thing on display, okay? This area here with my Eiffel Tower. And before I didn't have these little fountains here. I just had the Eiffel Tower and then like a couple trees, and I had, some other stuff like right here. I put 2 castles there recently. And before I used to have like this river that runs to the back. That was all Omega. Okay. And so I had my, Omega coins that I could collect off my buildings so I could do calm. And then right here, I used to have like this area here. I used to have all airport homes. It was all Tokyo. I bulldozed everything out because I, ended up changing trial and error. Basically, I ended up changing my city over to an epic city only. So every single building in my city right now is an epic building, besides the couple right here that I've used to upgrade for comm. So like maybe it's a Paris house I had to upgrade for comm, but everything else is an epic project. Now, the reason that I chose to do that is because the service demand for water, power, sewer, waste management is drastically lower for epic projects. So I'm able to utilize that space by not having to put out so much of that. And for me, especially before regional maps came in, I had so much in storage, like all these buildings that I had purchased, and I had nowhere to put anything. So I wanted to do so much more, and I just couldn't because my map wasn't big enough. So I was really stoked about the regional maps, but I had also everything is maxed out. My storage, my land, I have all my land on every single map maxed out besides the last map, which I just don't have that unlocked yet because of a population issue. So basically, I had got to a point in the game where I had mastered it. Okay. And I really wanted to do something like how I have the water that runs here and I got the bridges that go over and whatnot. And as you can tell, or actually, I don't even know if you can tell until I tell you, but if you look at my city, I have every single building facing me. The way that I'm looking at it, it's facing us. Okay. And the reason that I chose to do this was because I had looked around other people's cities and realized that, yes, in a normal city, not everything faces the same way, but this is not normal life. This is a game, and it looks better if you can see everything at one angle. Now, what you'll realize here is that this is going to look like a totally different city once I turn it, okay? So I turn it this way, and look at that. I mean, that's a completely different angle. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like a totally different city. And you can see the backside of everything. So I always thought it looked really terrible when you have a really cool city and you start seeing like the backside of, the pyramid or something. It's like, why don't you turn that around? Or your stores. I'll see people in their shops like facing the wrong way. I don't know if it's just because I'm OCD or what, but it looks like crap to me. And just turning the buildings the right way can make it look that much better. Now, I think that there should be more customizing options as far as, water and trees. And, maybe we should have like a feature where we can go into a separate screen and we can like raise the ground up like the old SimCities where you could make like, hills and whatnot. Or we should have like a pick up all water button because that's going to be the most frustrating is picking up all the damn water. Okay. But what I wanted to do was I basically lined the water with trees. And the reason that I did this was because it looks so fake and tacky when people line their water with roads, right? So let's say that you got your road and you're going to want to be careful because like if you if you notice that your services are getting cut off, like all of a sudden everybody's screaming at you because all these are turning red. It's because a road somewhere is not connected. Okay. So if you know what road it is, don't be in a hurry to fix it. Just do your design, go back to it. It won't, ruin your city. But if you don't know what it is and you're trying to figure out why all of a sudden everybody's ticked off at you, that's why. Okay, you need to connect a road somewhere. And like in the back over here where, let's see, like this area, I had a bridge at some point over here and I didn't have it connected. And it was just that one bridge and it knocked out like my entire city. Okay. So like I also do displays. So like when they do the Valentine's Day stuff, right here I have the angel shooting the tree, the bush, and I have it facing her. And I chose to do a display like that. And I had all the Valentine's Day stuff where I'll do like an Easter display. And I'll do all the Easter buildings in one area and I'll put water and trees around it and make it look nice. So here. Okay. Now the hang on just a second here. Okay, so the bridges, those are going to cost you money. Some of them cost plat keys. Now, try to match your bridges up. Like, it's hard to, like, okay, so like this Plum Bob Bridge here, it lights up at night and it looks super cool. It's expensive, though, to get. Each piece goes up in price. I did a lot of just random bridges, like how this one has like water that runs underneath of it, the cobblestone. I thought that looked really cool, so I'll put it going facing this way so I can see the little holes where the water goes through. I don't have it going, like that to where I can't see. Basically, like, you're just going to want to do functionality and looks. You're going to want to mess around with it. Do you want a lot of water? Do you want a lot of trees? You're going to spend time in that area. So don't be getting frustrated and upset, if it's not working out for you. And like I said, you're going to have a point in time where you're going to basically tear down everything you just did and restart. Now, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, just how do I get started? Okay. You don't want to look at the big picture. At least that's not my advice that I would give somebody. Okay. Because for me, I couldn't do that. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted a lot of water and I knew I wanted a lot of trees. Now, back when I first started this, my city, there weren't the regional trees. So all I had to work with was the game ones, the green and the yellow, and then the light green. And I had tons of them, and I'm sure they're still in storage or they're all over my other maps, but they ran me, yeah, look, I got 49 of those. So, I mean, I was super stoked about the trees. So once I did that, I redesigned my whole city and I just went through and I started picking up old trees, putting in new ones in their place. I liked the weeping willows to go across the water because they kind of hang in the water, which looks super cool. I'll show you guys my regional maps. But what I was saying was you don't want to look at the big picture, okay? So like for me, I started with one area and I didn't have my whole map unlocked. A lot of people, they won't start designing their city until their map is fully unlocked. I don't know why you guys do that. You make it harder for yourself, okay? Sometimes, you can get a piece of paper and you can kind of sketch out what you want, but essentially it's not going to be anything what you expected, okay? Like I knew that I wanted to have my factories and my stores right up front. That much I knew. Then once I got to that point, I had like this display that I had done where it was like with my Eiffel Tower, it was like the piece to my city. That was like the centerpiece, as you would say. And then I just kind of worked off of that and I just built around it. And I would go, inch by inch and I would just make it look cool. And then by the time I was done, I had this big picture. Okay. So if I would have had to step back and try to, envision that in my head all as complete, it never would have happened. It never would have happened. I don't even know, like my head would have probably spontaneously combusted, dude, because I can't envision all that at once. You have to work slowly. and maybe you start with the water and the trees, and you start, drawing roads to them. Like, you look at my road layout on my capital map. You think I could have thought that up? That just happened. You know what I mean? Like, okay, look. Now, keep in mind that my regional maps are not anything what they're going to be. They're set up like this for population, so I can unlock the last map, and then I'm going to go through. And I got big plans for all my regional maps, like big plans. But this is the general idea. So I have the water, and I have like this, main area here that I wanted, this here. And then I have the river that kind of runs through, right? And then I kind of ventured off over into here. Now, see how this one is more grid-like? I have a lot of roads. That's not going to be like that. I'm probably going to do patches, like this area here is going to have a lot of houses, and then I'll have like, some river run through it. Now, one of the things that I always thought that would be super cool would be to do a city where, let me see if I can explain this. So you have all your houses, okay, and they're all like lined up, right? And then you have like a very skinny river that kind of runs through like the whole housing. And I'll show you, because I actually kind of did what I'm talking about on my Sunny map. And you guys like envision, what you want to do, because you gotta have some idea what you want to do, right? Okay, so over here, how I have the houses like I was talking about, and then the little skinny river that kind of runs through and around. Now, this map is very, and you're going to want to keep in mind the shape of the map. So if you're building on your regional maps, keep that in mind as well. So I have it kind of run through all this little bit, and it's not going to be set up for pop. So if you're like me and you got to unlock all your maps, keep that in mind too. But you get the general idea on how the water just kind of runs through the buildings. But another thing that I thought would be cool would be if you did like a little patch of, homes, and then massive amounts of water and trees, and then like a big long bridge that ran to another like island of homes, and so on. And I've seen people do it, and it looks really cool. And and here's the thing. A lot of people, they like feel guilty if they copy someone's idea. There's only so many ways you can build in this game. People have great ideas. I've went and looked at people's cities on Global and been like, wow, that, the ending your river with that delta, the beach delta, that's a really cool idea. And it actually tells you to do that in the menu. It says this can be a nice piece for the end of your river, or whatever it says. And so don't feel guilty if you see some cool idea in someone's building and you copy that, I'm sure they'd be, flattered, actually. Now, let's say that you're still having trouble. You don't, your city maybe looks just like this. It's kind of grid-like, okay? And you don't know where to start. Start by picking up all your specialization buildings, put them in storage, right? You're going to put all your homes, all your residential homes, to one corner of your map. And the other thing, too, is you're going to want to go watch my Omega video so you know how to buy the Omega resources so that your map doesn't have this happen to it, where you have to have an entire section designated for power, water, sewer. Like, I only have 1 million pop, and look how much services I need. Whereas if I had the Omega, which the reason I haven't purchased it in this map is because I have so many in my capital that it would cost me 70 or 60,000 Omega coins just to buy one in this map, because you cannot store those. So keep that in mind when you buy them. And keep that in mind when you're buying your power and stuff, that you're going to have to make a huge area of your map designated to that. So if you go back and you look at my capital map, you'll see I don't have any hospitals. I don't have any police. I don't have any fire. I have only maxes, okay? I only have 3 of them. And that is partially why there's no buildings, no homes in the front of my city. Because I am not going to put a bunch of hospitals and stuff. By the time I fit all the hospitals and stuff in my city, it would look terrible. Okay? So if you're really picky like me and you're getting real, particular, you're going to want to buy a Maxis and you're going to want to buy Omega Resources because it's going to utilize all that space. So what I was saying was you're going to want to put all of your specialization buildings in storage, put all of your homes to one corner of your map, and then start by saying, okay, I have, 25 gold epics and I know that I want those placed in this general area. Okay. And then I got these Tokyo buildings and I know I want those placed along the water, and just start by kind of messing around and seeing how it looks. Don't upgrade any roads until you're positive they're going to be there. Don't worry about the Sims yelling at you. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're not going to get as many taxes, which they don't pay you anything anyway. So, don't stress, okay? Don't worry about all that stuff right then. Just worry about what you like the look of. A lot of people bulldoze a lot of homes, and if it's something you're sure, you better make sure you don't want it, okay? Don't bulldoze a gold epic. God, geez, just don't do that. That would be terrible. But keep that in mind that you're also going to want to probably keep your taller buildings along the back or along the side. That way you can see your other buildings. And if you don't like something, change it. Don't just settle with it because you spent hours on it. Change it, okay? Now, I'll show you my frosty. And then here's the other thing too, is you're going to want to take into account, that you're going to have other maps later. So like I got all those cowboy contest and mayor's buildings. I hated them at first. I thought, God, I'll never use these. They sat in storage forever. And then I unlocked the desert map and I went, wow, I finally found a use for these, So it's okay to have stuff sit in storage. Like we have a lot of Christmas buildings in this game. Trees, stuff like that. They look really great on the Frosty map, okay? So keep that in mind when you're building your city. That don't, if you have a lot of, buildings or whatever, think, well, will this look better elsewhere later, Now, as you can see, I have this here, and it won't stay here. It's only there to boost my population. But this was a really big piece in my other city. I had it lining the river, and a lot of why my city looks cool is because of the water, okay? You add water and you add trees and you line the water with the trees and it just looks really cool. Whereas if you're lining your water with roads, it looks really tacky, okay? It doesn't look realistic. So keep that in mind as well. Like right here, see how I have the water next to the roads? That does not look good, does it? Not really. I mean, it looks okay, but nothing like over here, where it's being lined with trees, like over here. See how pretty that looks with the snow? So, and you don't have to have a lot of water to make it look really nice. You can just do like a little area. I also thought it would be cool to do like a big pond maybe in the center of the city, like a big, huge body of water, and then build the city around the water, like a big circle kind of. You do have the option for boats, and I think that SimCity should add in boats that actually move around in the water. That would be really cool. Or add in some new boats. They did add some contest of mayors buildings that you can set on top of water. So I've seen people ask, how do I get the houses that sit in the water? If you don't already have them from the contest of mayors buildings, you're not going to be able to get them unless they come out with new ones. And they look like this. And they sit right here in the water, okay? And you're going to find those in your Mayor's Pass tab right here. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions on how, I'm sure I left stuff out. I might be doing a second video on this topic, but you guys get the general idea. There's just so much you can do. It's hard to explain, exactly what you're going to want to do, but I'm trying to give you guys the tips that I used when I, was designing my city. I spent a lot of time on it. And the other thing I wanted to show you guys in my capital map, yeah, so I put, like I said, I put all my buildings facing one way. I put my tall buildings along the back. And okay, what was I going to show you? Oh my God. I really forget what I was going to say. That's terrible. I can't remember now. Well, I guess if I think of it, I'll put it in the description below. But basically, you know, I also have like at night, you know, some of the stuff's going to look cooler. I have the little fountains here and they spew water and stuff, but the lanterns at night, the floating lanterns, they go above the water and they look super cool. And you're going to have your, you know, your hot spots that you can level up. Some of those look really cool. But converting your homes into epic homes, don't do the one that you have the most points in. Do the one that you like the look of, okay? Unless you're somebody who doesn't care too much about appearance, then do the one that you have the most points in, right? Now, normally I would tell you to do the one with the most points because it's going to be the most efficient and it's going to help you later. However, you want to, you know, you're stuck with it, okay? Like me, I'm stuck with all these tall buildings in the back, and I wish I wasn't. I wish that they were smaller and I could convert, or at least store them and put them onto other maps. You know, I can't even do that. So, you know, keep in mind you're not going to want to bulldoze gold epics later. So make sure that it's being converted into a home that you like the look of. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I did like this right here. I have the main, you know, water that goes right down the center, and I've got a bridge going through each one. Now, you guys can see, okay, so like I have a little circle pond here, and what I wanted to show you guys was the road layout, okay? So right here, as you can see, I have this one road, and I put like this, you know, it goes like this in a rectangle, and I was actually able to put the homes along this right here, and then line it with trees. And that way, when you go like this, it actually looks like the homes are along the water, but as you see, they don't have roads sticking out. So that's a really cool idea. You know, if you're lining your when you're doing your water, put a building, put some trees around the building. You know, that's what I did anyway. If I had coverage here, the health and fire and stuff right here, I would put homes here. Okay. Now, like I said, this used to be all Omega right here, and I used to have this this thing right where this boat is, and I had this big, huge display of it. You know, it was like a big educational display. It looked really cool. Like how I have the Big Ben Tower here, since the clock goes every direction. You know, you can see it. So that looks, you know, cool there. So just keep in mind, you know, like what looks cool and what doesn't. I did put the Eiffel Tower in the back, or Empire State Building, sorry. And yeah, I mean, I used to have right here where this hotspot is, I used to have that little gnome park, and it used to have the little pink trees, the little pink tree park there. It used to have those around it, and it looked really cool. And I had the bridges going along the back, so it kind of lit it up. So, I mean, you know, any of those ideas that you guys like, you know, go ahead and use them. The Ferris wheel, it lights up and it looks really cool. But as you can see, the road design, like look at my roads. I could not do that without having already put the stuff around it. I built my roads around my displays, if that makes sense. So, you know, I drew the line for the building, and I've seen some people, they draw like one little tiny dot of a road, and they put a city, or not a city, a building right there, and then they just build around it. They don't even have that road connected to anything. And that way it doesn't have the little road mark on top, which, yes, sometimes it looks cool, but you're not going to be getting anything really from it. Okay? So, like, it's just going to be sitting out there. It's kind of going to look a little tacky with the one little dot of road. But, you know, if you can make your roads connect, that's going to be helpful. Now, along the back, as you can see, I have long roads. You're also going to want to take into account when doing your roads that, you know, certain shapes. Don't do, you know, rectangle shapes. and odd shapes to where you're not going to be able to fit stuff nicely. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. So like this one, I was able to keep in mind that there was a lot of mayor's buildings that came out and they were like little fountains and stuff. And I had a lot of those, you know, there, and they were able to kind of go off my, like this, you know, this one kind of spits water out. I don't even remember where those are at. They might be a landmark. No, they're not landmark. I don't know. Maybe landscape. The landscape tab has a lot of, you know, decent stuff in it. I did like the animals, you know, a lot of the animals I put around my water as well because they just look cool. You know, you got the little bears and stuff. Where are they? Yeah, see how I got the bear cave there, and I've got like this camp on the lake here. There, that's one of the things I was talking about right here. This little fountain thing. Jesus Christ. But anyway, right there between that thing, St. James Park. Okay, there's quite a few of those that, you know, we earned. And as you can see, I've got another, you know, Cupid heart pink tree here. And you just want to like line your, and see like what I was saying about the lanterns. Now, if it was nighttime, all these would be lit up. And so I bought a ton of them because I missed out on them the first time they came around. And they kind of, you know, go like right off the water. It looks really cool. But, let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, the animals are another good way to do water, you know, stuff. Or yeah, to angle. Oh, okay. There's a bridge missing. That was from a video that I did for you guys. So on that note, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. If you're having trouble placing bridges, you guys can go ahead and hit me up in the comments below. I can answer those questions. Those can be tricky to place. Just make sure that you guys have water underneath of them and that you draw the road to it. And sometimes there is just that glitch where it doesn't work. I don't know why. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. So like, subscribe, comment, do what you got to do to hit me up, and have a nice day.